Hey, thanks for joining me. I wanted to talk a little bit about Flare. And I'm using Gate.io. I'm using this exchange because I feel like it's got more history on this particular altcoin than the ones I was looking at. And then also on the daily time frame. And hopefully just going to spend maybe 10, 12 minutes and walk you through what I'm seeing on this really exciting altcoin. I'm going to zoom in out a little bit. I love patterns in trading, but I found this fib channel, and you can see right here, this was in the fall of 2023, but we had a nice touch there, and we had a nice touch here in the fall of 2024. And then right up here, we had a wick, but it did touch it. And then if you notice, right around the midsection of this channel, so like right there, we had a false breakout. Price got hung up, tripped up right there. So I like that. And then right here, broke through, but at least it kind of got snagged, which tells me this is a good fit from a channel perspective. And then we had a false breakout right here. So I'm going to keep this channel in this video because I like it a lot and it matters. When prices, by the way, when they find the bottom, or say the top of the channel, when they find the top, they will eventually also find the bottom, and it goes for the other direction as well. So when they find the bottom, they will eventually find the top. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you that it's not only going to find the top, but it's going to go above it, which is really exciting. So just real quick on the wave counts, I'm a huge fan of the Elliot Wave Theory. What's cool about the Elliot Wave Theory was, created in 1930s. So time-tested, battle-tested, and a lot of legendary traders like Paul Tudor Jones are huge fans of the Elliott Wave Theory. So here's what's really super exciting is this is an impulse wave, and here is wave one, and the second wave is always the corrective pattern, and here is the end of wave two. So this is what's really cool. What comes after wave two is the third wave, and third waves are typically twice as long as the first waves, and they're the, again, longest, but also the most explosive, which is really cool. But from a validation standpoint, let me just walk you through this. So here is the beginning of this, minor wave one for this wave one, excuse me. So here is wave one, two, and three, four, and we definitely had an extended wave five to finish off the wave one. And then wave twos are always corrective patterns. It's an ABC pattern. So here's A, there's B, and then here's C always has to be lower than wave A. And I won't walk you through the wave counts, but this looks to me like definitely the end of wave two. And what's really super exciting for those of you that are flare bag holders, good times are right in front of you. You know the Russian dolls where there's dolls within dolls? Zoom out here. Yeah, let me just. So the Russian dolls. So what alluding to is that there's two third waves in progress right now. So this is the giant third wave that's literally just getting started. But this right here, this price action right here, so here is wave one and wave two. So this is that third wave within the third wave. So not only is the larger third wave degree starting, but now the third wave, the smaller third wave is literally underway. I want to spend a minute just to provide some confidence that this is truly, in fact, the bottom. And now we're starting our way up. So let's spend a few minutes on this. I'm going to overlay just some indicators. So overlaying the Bollinger Bands. And I like this a lot. Price action came down. Respected the bottom of the band nicely. And then from a stochastic standpoint, it's a little tough to see, but we definitely have the early stages of a bullish crossover. So I'm going to get rid of that guy because we're running out of room here. It's getting a little crowded. But then let's turn on the RSI, and I want to share this with you. So I've got these trend lines in here, and I've anchored it right here. So there's a touch, and there's a touch, and another touch. So then here's another touch for the top one, and then here's the second. And now we've got a breakout. So we're early stages of this breakout of the RSI, which also helps me feel more confident that this truly is, the bottom or the end of this corrective second wave and the beginning of this explosive third wave. So let's get rid of the RSI so we can get some more room back on here. And I'm going to get rid of the Bollinger Bands. And this is one more thing I wanted to share with you. There's that pennant, or excuse me, a falling wedge pattern in here that I saw. And if you're familiar with these are very reliable patterns. Very reliable. Yeah, I like that. All right, I like that a lot. Take a look at this. I'm going to really oversimplify this. I learned this in, I'm taking the I'm studying for my chartered market technician. But these truly are, they're probably in the top 10 for all of patterns. But from an oversimplification standpoint, they're measured moves. So here is just think of the flagpole. I'm sure you've heard that before. But once price does finally break out this pennant, then from a measured move standpoint, if I were to place this pole, the flagpole per se, and anchor it, say on the breakout where it breaks out, then that's where price will eventually be headed. So this is a nice healthy move. And once price breaks out, that's what's in front of us. So this pennant also helps me feel more confident. Actually, I'll leave the pennant in there. Just get rid of this though. But this pennant, once it breaks out, also gives me more validation and confidence that we truly are at the bottom and beginning of the third wave. The other thing that I noticed was this fib channel. This is minor. This is really minor, but here's where it was anchored right here. Fell out of it, but we had this strong explosive candle to hop back into it, which gives me more confidence. But by the way, the price action with this channel is relatively, it's just getting underway, but we have a nice wick touch. Remember what I was alluding to about channels? Touch the top of it, and guess what? It found the bottom, and it wicked it twice. So there's more validation that I think that the bottom of the second wave is in. All right, so let's get a good view here. My price targets are so far up there, it's hard to be able to squeeze it all in my monitor so you can see this. You know what I'll do is I'll turn on the wave lines to help it a little more clear. Oops, make it a little more clearer. There we go. Yeah, hopefully this is somewhat easy on the eyes. I mean, we are almost done. Remember how I was saying the third wave? So here's the third wave. This green shaded area, which I'll talk about in a second, that's the price target for the end of the third wave. But if you notice the distance of it, remember I was saying it's typically, not all the time, but typically twice as long as that first wave. And here is this first wave down here. And if you were just to eye this, right, and double it, it makes sense. Why this third wave, it does look very similar in terms of distance times 2, the flagpole or that first wave. Now, I've got the fib extensions, and these should, if you take a screenshot of this, I'll zoom out before we wrap up the video, but these should act as price targets. We've got the 382, the 0.5. This will definitely act as overhead resistance. And then we've got the golden zone, and we should get some, when price gets up here to the 786, this too, fully expect will have allergic reaction for a short-term correction. But then, in this green shaded area, this is, right now, this target is 0.0852. By the way, at time of recording, price is at 0.0264, and this green shaded area up here is as high as 0.0959. and 0.0852, somewhere in here. And we'll know more in the coming weeks and months in terms of how close we are to getting towards the end of this third wave. But then at the end of every third wave, we're going to have some sort of corrective pattern. And we should probably retrace down to near around the 786 level, which puts us at the 6 cents level or the 7 cents level. And then once we're done in that corrective pattern, and I think it's too soon right now. My chart's not even big enough. I think it's a bit too soon to zero in on the end of this fifth wave. But here's what I know. We're about 80% done of this bull market before we come into a kind of a healthy correction. And This fifth wave right here is really extended. But if you notice down here, the time frame, I'm expecting the first quarter and second quarter to be extremely strong in 2025, but I'm expecting the markets to roll over around the May timeframe. And this kind of makes sense too, because this fib up here is the 2.618 as well as the 200 level. So this makes sense to me as to where we should eventually start to top out. And this, by the way, is at 20 cents at the 2.618, and that 200% level is at the basically almost at the 16 cents, call it 15 cents right there. But I'm not going to, I think in the coming months, we'll focus more on that as we get closer from a timing perspective. But let me just zoom back in. I really, for those of you that are current bag holders, patience is the word of the day. There really is some exciting times coming. And I think Flare might be one of the leaders for the altcoin market as we kick off this altcoin season heading into 2025. And based off where we're at currently right now, I still think we've got another couple, I don't know, weeks before we start to see this thing break out, which is not very long. So everybody just have some patience, grab some popcorn, and really just enjoy this. There's really some good times ahead. And if you have any questions about this in the coming weeks or coming months, let me just do this for you so you can take a screenshot if you'd like. But if you have any questions or comments in the coming months, please reach out anytime. And there you go. And again, Happy New Year's.